very much, Secretary General.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much, Secretary for Administration, Comrade Obed Mpofu. Good morning, everybody. Like said by Honorable Zora, I have come with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Housing and Social Amenities, Engineer Chinyanga. Secretary for Administration, members of the Politburo that are here, members of the Central Committee, all protocol observed. Let me start by apologizing for not attending the meeting when it was initially scheduled. There were other pressing issues that we couldn't cancel. My apologies for that. We are a brand new ministry, Chairman, 7 months today. Created on the 9th of November 2019, created from a department from the Ministry of Local Government, Public Works and National Housing then, with a sole mandate to deal with human settlements issues that are bedeviling our country. The ministry was created by His Excellency, taking cognizance of the demand for housing or the lack of housing that is in the country. Housing as in houses, housing as in social amenities, schools, clinics, hospitals, shopping centers. Chairman, we are quite aware of the Vision 2030 as pronounced by His Excellency, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, that Zimbabwe must attain an upper middle income economy status by 2030. That gives us a direction as we build houses, what kind of houses are we building? What kind of schools are we going to provide? What kind of infrastructure is required for Zimbabwe for us to be in the upper middle economy status by 2030? For those of us who might not be on the know or understanding of an upper middle economy status, we are looking at what South Africa is outside these rural communities. That's what we are looking at. Or we are looking at countries like Malaysia, countries like Singapore, countries like Thailand. This is the dream that His Excellency came up with. We have a role as a ministry to ensure that that dream is a reality. We must provide sustainable and affordable human settlements by 2030. Sustainable in the sense that the settlements that we are going to build must be resistant to climate change, must be resistant to earth tremors, must be resistant to floods, must be resistant to droughts, effects of droughts, must speak to modernity. The houses, the buildings that we have in the country right now speak to one or two designs. For those who know, they speak to gables and hips. Those are, in my view, and in the view of His Excellency, tired designs. So as we start the journey to go towards 2030, we must come up with modern designs. Our architects, engineers, our town planners are being reminded that they must now come with designs that speak to modernity so that Vision 2030 becomes reality in terms of this infrastructure that we're going to be providing as Ministry of National Housing and Social Amenities. We are cognizant of the fact that human settlements must follow certain standards. We are aware of the standards that we have in our local authorities, standards that were put in place as far back as 1943. The building bylaws that we have are prohibitive to development. They are called British standards. When you go to Britain, the British themselves are no longer using those standards. So as we journey towards 2030, we are going to be revising all local authorities' building standards in consultation with the government and public works. The most expensive component of a house in today's life is land. We will not achieve that objective if land is sold at exorbitant prices, as is happening right now. We have therefore made a presentation to His Excellency, and we are making this presentation to the party right now, fully cognizant of the fact that as ministers or as government, we are only an implementing organ of the party's policies and programs. We are saying government must provide land with affordable prices so that the end product that we are going to build, which we are calling social housing, is affordable to our people. So we are going to be embarking on programs, models that ensure that government comes to the party with a half-empty or half-full barrel. Half-empty in the sense that it will have land, but it will not have financial resources. We have taken a paradigm shift to what we are all used to. That whenever you want to do government programs, you wait for Treasury to give you financial support, then you start. We are fully aware of the challenges that government is going through right now, the effects of drought, the effects of floods. If you talk of Chimanimani, now we've got COVID-19, which needs government support. We are aware, Chairman, that Zimbabwe is alone in dealing with the issues of COVID-19 in terms of funding. All other countries have been given funding by the World Bank through the United Nations. Zimbabwe got nothing. We are aware. So given that background and given those challenges, we then said we now need to create relationships with our private sector. What is it that we can do with the private sector to provide housing? We have already consulted or have discussions with pension funds, with insurance companies, all of them, Old Mutual included. And we have said government has got land, unencumbered land which we are going to be providing at intrinsic value or intrinsic cost so that the end product is affordable. And we are aware of the fact that the pension funds in 2008, when there was the dollar crash, Chairman, they said because there is a dollar crash, people lost their pension benefits, everything, they lost everything. But the pension funds themselves and insurance companies did not lose anything because they had invested that money into real properties. Old Mutual built all the buildings, the high-rise buildings that you see in Zimbabwe, the majority of them. Westgate is a case in point, Eastgate is a case in point. So they did not practically lose anything as pension funds. But the beneficiaries, some of them are deceased, others are languishing in the rural areas where the strength of the party is, lost everything. So we say to the pension funds, we don't want to come to you and say, pay Mr. Garwe or Mr. Chimuti in the rural areas what he was supposed to get, because some of them are deceased. That program will not work. But we are aware of the fact that you can, through your programs, you can give us 20% of what you have, put that money towards housing delivery, put that money towards social amenities delivery. They said, yes, we can do that. What we need to do is to create a special purpose vehicle where government will come with land, they will come with financial resources. We then identify pieces of land where we can build the houses, build the schools, build the social amenities, everything that needs to be done, provide the infrastructure. We agree to that. As I'm speaking right now, our permanent secretary is seized with meetings with IPEC. IPEC is an umbrella organization that looks after the affairs of pension funds and insurance companies. They are seized with the responsibility of coming up with those models to ensure that we start construction. On the other hand, we have also written to our sister ministries, Minister of Lands, Minister of Local Government, to provide us with land so that we can start building. Chairman, it will not make sense to talk about modern designs or talk about recalibrating our infrastructure, our housing facilities, our hospitals, if we ignore 60% of our communities, which is the rural areas. We don't want to have a Zimbabwe with modern urban facilities in towns, peri-urban areas, cities, and then the rural communities are left being saved with the pit latrines and the open wells. We are saying it's the responsibility of this ministry to ensure that we take modernity or modern development to the rural areas. And we've got a deliberate strategy to start the construction program from the RDCs. And we are doing this, Chairman, knowing fully well that we've got 2023, 2.5 years from now, and we are saying we are promising the party that as the Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, we want to play our part by delivering houses so that we deliver credible election results to His Excellency by 2023. We have no apologies to make on that. But we will be providing houses for all Zimbabweans. It will be an opportunity for us to take our brothers and sisters that are lost in the wilderness, in the name of MDC. We bring them back. Here are houses. Join us. Get houses as well. But we have no apologies to make on that. We want to bring credible elections results to the party. Land is a finite product, Chairman. If we focus on building horizontally, one will eat into agricultural land. And we are all aware of the fact that our economy is premised on agriculture. So we have taken a different direction. We are now going to be building vertically. We want to use our vertical spaces that are open right now. There is nothing that is happening. So we have got a deliberate policy and strategy to ensure that in urban centers, in the RDCs, we start with walk-up flats, at least 4 floors where we don't need lifts. We are targeting RDCs, also looking at the economies of every RDC. One might want to ask, who is going to occupy those flats and houses? Our civil service is our priority number 1. We've got teachers, we've got nurses, we've got doctors in the rural areas, servicing the rural areas, and the majority of schools are in the rural areas. So we've got an offtake, and we've got SSB as the most stable employer in the country. So they will be able to pay rent. Those who would want to get into rental accommodation, they will be able to buy under a model, what we are going to call rent to buy housing. It's not a new model. It's something that has been applied in other countries, even in this country. During Smith's regime, all the high density areas, people were paying rentals for a long period of time. And after 25 years, they were then told the house is now yours. We want to modernize that model and say, in the rural areas, provide the same facilities that are in Harare, provide them in Goromonzi, provide them in Cholocho, provide them in Murewa. So that we influence, Chairman, we influence a rural to urban, not an urban to rural migration. Once we do that, we will ease up pressure from the infrastructure in urban areas. We are all aware, let's take Harare for instance. Harare's road network is clogged, the sewer network is blocked, the electricity is not adequate. The reason is not that there is no electricity or there are no roads or there is no sewer lines. The reason is they were designed for a smaller population. And people have got this tendency of wanting to come to Harare. But if we make a reverse of that, Chairman, we develop Juru Growth Point, we develop Goromonzi, we develop Melfort, that is Harare, we develop all the RDCs, then people have facilities that they are asking for in Harare, they will have them in the rural areas. There will be no need for anyone to come to Harare. That eases off pressure on our roads, because people will be working from their communities. Let me give you Murewa as an example. Dr. Parejatwa will agree with me. Murewa's economy is agro-based, it's driven by horticulture. If we invite investors that want to invest in processing plant for drying vegetables, for drying fruits, mangoes, for processing the agro products, then we will have created employment around Murewa. We will have provided housing around that area. There will be no need for people that are coming from that RDC to come to work in Harare. That is the strategy that we have. Chairman, let me...
Thank you. Go ahead, Minister. Sorry.
Chairman, let me talk about infrastructure. we are saying, because of climate change, electricity is no longer a dependable source of energy. Well, let's go green. In the countries already started doing that. So every construction project or every development that we're going to, whether it's housing, whether it's 3,000 houses, social amenities, shopping centers, schools, clinics, there must be a requirement that we have solar energy as a starting point. There is a requirement that there must be a requirement that we provide roads, we provide water, we provide electricity. We don't want to have the sad story that we have of the irregular settlement that we have around all our cities. I'll come to the irregular settlements. But we were saying, whoever is a developer, before the development certificate is issued, that development must necessarily have those facilities. Must have your roads done, must have your water done, you must have your electricity done, you must have your sewer done, and have electricity as green energy. This is a policy, and we are going to be brutal in ensuring that it's done. Whoever does not follow that, government will take the land away from that developer. We have no, again, apologies to make, because we want to focus on developing the country to reach the standards that other countries have reached. Chairman, like I said, the ministry is only 7 months old, but we now have a structure approved by the Public Service Commission. We have 13 departments. We have got the Department of Urban Housing, we've got the Department of Rural Housing, we've got the Department of Construction and Maintenance. This is a key department that is going to be tasked with the responsibility of ensuring the monitoring, supervision, and evaluation of all construction projects. We have a Department of Urban Social Amenities. We have a Department of Rural Social Amenities. We've got a Finance Department, Audit, Human Resources, Legal. If there are any that I haven't mentioned, I think the PEMSEC will help me later on. So these are the departments that are going to be running with the ministry. That's the structure that was approved. We discussed with the Public Service Commission and it was approved. I have spoken about influencing urban to rural migration. Going vertical is the key. Key in the sense that you reduce the cost of infrastructure. One road can service several blocks of flats. One road can one sewer line can service several blocks of flats. So there is an economic consideration or finance consideration in going vertical in construction. We are saying, going to the rural development aspect, the rural social amenities. I mentioned earlier on that all our rural facilities or rural economies are serviced by pit latrines and open wells. There is a model that was being used in commercial farms. Every commercial farm was being serviced by a septic tank and soak away. We are saying that because we've got enough land in the rural areas, we must come up with programs in line with discussing or coordinating with local government. We want to ensure that people are encouraged to build septic tanks and soakaways. Somebody asked a question that how are you going to empty the soakaways? There is technology that is being used right now to deal. We don't need to come to bring honeysuckers. You can use diesel as an example. There are many other chemicals that can be put into the septic tank to liquefy or liquidate the human stuff, and then it becomes water and it drains into the soakaway. So it's a massive program. It can be achieved over 3 years, over 2.5 years. It's a long-term program, minimum 10 years. But we want every rural community, including the farming communities, the new farming communities, our A1 farmers, our A2 farmers, to be serviced with modern houses, to be serviced with septic tanks and soakaways. Then we'll have achieved what the president has dreamt about. I said also, Chairman, earlier on that we have spoken to pension funds and insurance companies. We have also had serious discussions with the banking community, building societies. And as I'm speaking to you right now, the permanent secretary and his team are seized with serious discussions to come up with financial models to partner our building societies to be financing all our structures. We have said the private sector is part of us. We want to eliminate the them and us attitude that has been prevailing. And we have had meetings with them, all the CEOs, all of them. They are on board. The only bank that we haven't spoken with because of COVID is Stanbic Bank. But all the other banks are on board. As I'm speaking to you right now, NBS, POSB, CBZ, FBC Bank, their building societies are on board. They are probably by end of June, beginning of July, we will start dancing to the music of construction. You will see things happening. Somebody was saying, you are a ministry with the we haven't built a house. It's a brand new ministry. We are putting all the structures, everything is new, even including employing directors, deputy directors, and general staff. It's brand new. We requested for the tools of trade from His Excellency, and he said, get the tools of trade that you want to use. We don't want we don't want to create an opportunity for failure. It must be a success. This is going to be one of the tools that we use to win elections in 2023. So we are doing everything possible. We are doing our best to ensure that we come with the best team for delivery. Chairman, we have mobilized resources internally and externally. We are talking to Shelter Africa. I think we all know Shelter Africa. Shelter Africa is an organization, a Pan-African organization, Pan-African bank, with the responsibility of providing financing for social housing, affordable housing. Zimbabwe is a signatory to Shelter Africa. We are a shareholder in Shelter Africa. We have spoken with them. All the hurdles that were there have been cleared. We are so grateful to Minister of Finance. There was some money that we needed to pay, about $350,000 in terms of outstanding debts. We've since cleared that. Last week we had a virtual meeting with Shelter Africa. They are giving us $55 million for housing. And our building societies, NBS, POS being also involved, FBC, CBZ are warming up to taking that money. We have an organization that falls under as a parastatal in the name of Urban Development Corporation, HUDCOP. They are also a beneficiary of the 55. They've got 10 million that was approved. So this 10 million was approved last week, and that pushes up the figure from 55 million to 65 million. And we are saying probably by end of July, other things being equal, we'll be able, that money will be with our building societies. And Ministry, Treasury and PS are working flat out to ensure that we get that money for housing delivery. We have motivated the diaspora, and COVID has created an opportunity for us to do business. The diaspora, everybody who is out there wants a house now at home, so that when things get worse, they want to come back home. They are so ready to buy houses. They are so ready to be involved in participating in national housing delivery. So that's a market, Chairman, that we have captured. We are nurturing it right now. Once we start building, because the money that is coming from Shelter Africa is foreign currency. It has to be paid in foreign currency. We have got the diaspora market to cushion that area. We also have other organizations from outside Zimbabwe, particularly from South Africa, who wants to participate in national housing. Some of them are going through what we call financial due diligence through the Ministry of Finance. Our PS is also assisted with that responsibility. We are grateful, Your Chairman, that the Treasury, given now the difficulties it's going through, have agreed to finance what we have termed VIP housing in the new city, in Mazowe, where we're building our parliament. The VIP housing, the accommodation, government accommodation, everything, all the financial, all the institutions that are required, institutional accommodation that is required to ensure that government survives, Treasury is going to be providing us finance for that. Treasury is also agreed to provide us with finance to finish a number of construction projects that have been left unfinished. We are all aware of that. I think we have got in excess of 1,000 to 2,000 flats throughout the country that are in various stages of construction, of completion, that we need to complete, because that they've become dead capital. So Treasury said they will fund that, and we're so grateful to Treasury. Treasury has also said they will assist us with finance to provide for the construction of health workers accommodation, doctors. We are aware of that challenge, and we have come in and said, as a ministry, let's work together with the Treasury and the Ministry of Health to provide doctors accommodation, nurses accommodation, and health workers accommodation. So Dr. Parenyatwa and my Chisema, Secretary for Health, you can now start sleeping like all of us. Your doctors will not go back to strike. Yes. Chairman, we are collaborating with other line ministries to ensure that this program becomes a success. We are working very closely with the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works for them to provide us with urban state land. We are working very closely with the Ministry of Lands for them to give us additional land for provision of housing. We are also working with the Ministry of SMEs, Women's Affairs. We are aware of the working conditions of our SMEs, the informal sector. ZANU is a case in point. We are saying we want to change the face of the areas where our SMEs are going to be operating from. We now have a deliberate policy. ZANU is going to be our pilot project. We are going to be building a 3 to 4 story structure at ZANU, so that at the ground floor we have maybe those with hardware. Second floor, you have IT people. Third floor, you've got clothes. The same things that we have seen in other countries. That's what we're going to be doing. ZANU, Glenview. We are all aware of Glenview. Every year, the SME area in Glenview catches fire. We are speaking to a bank. I won't mention the name now because we haven't concluded the discussions. We have agreed to finance the construction of a modern, massive structure at Glenview. These are not the only centers. We've also discussed with the local government. We want to take over the Coca-Cola corner where they're putting up some structures. Put up modern structures for SMEs. It's an advantage for government because government will be able to collect taxes. The local authorities will be able to collect rates as well. It's not going to be a Harare program, Chairman. It's going to be throughout the country, even in the RDCs that we were talking about. Because we don't want to leave any spaces being serviced by things that we don't desire. And we also want to catch the SMEs so that they can believe in the party programs. Chairman, we have some acts that are administered by the ministry. We only have the UDCOP Act. Other acts, we co-administer them with the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of SMEs, like the cooperatives. The cooperatives fall under Ministry of SMEs, yes, but the housing aspect that they want to deliver, they falls under us. So we co-manage them. The only parastatal that we have at the moment is the Urban Development Corporation. We pleaded with the leadership that it falls under the Ministry of National Housing and Social Amenities purely for the fact that it was created predominantly to supervise and provide as well housing to Zimbabweans. So it's now under social amenities. We are so grateful to His Excellency. He saw sense in our plea, and it was transferred from where it was resident to the Ministry of National Housing and Social Amenities. Challenges. Your Secretary for Administration, we have got serious challenges. We have inherited massive problems. We are all aware of an animal called land baron. The animal called land baron is giving the party sleepless nights. The animal called land baron has caused us lose elections in certain constituencies. Caledonia, Goromonzi South is a case in point. There are many. Chairman, we must make as a party a conscious decision here. There is a land baron on one hand and 600 people plus 6-7 other people that they look after on the other. 600 people multiplied by 5, it gives us about 3,000 people also. Those are 3,000 votes. Our position is we would rather deal with the land baron who is 1 vote and protect the 3,000 votes. And we must not apologize for that. Land barons are seated here. I could be one of the land barons myself. The law must be brutal to me. The law must not be sympathetic, because we are sacrificing the party. We are sacrificing His Excellency by protecting land barons. We are losing elections by protecting land barons. And we are saying as a ministry, no to that. I'm happy to advise that we are working closely with Vamangwana in dealing with the land barons in terms of regularizing certain areas. We've got a place in Goromonzi South, which is Solomio, where he has been involved in trying to, we want to provide titles for the land. We are not going to demolish any house for anybody. We're not going to do that. But we want to provide the infrastructure that is not there. We want to provide the roads through UDCOP. We want to provide the roads. We want to provide water. We want to provide sewer. There are some houses that will be sacrificed. If a house is in the way of a road, surely it has to be sacrificed. What we are doing is, because land is a finite product, we are not going to say we want land from Ministry of Lands to relocate 600 people that are going to be displaced. No, we are saying because we are building flats on a very small piece of land, those people will be accommodated in those flats. They will be given those flats, but not for free. Because government does not have infinity resources to be giving people for free. And there is this culture, Chairman, that we must work on. We must disabuse of ourselves of wanting to get things from government for free. Government does not have that bottomless pit of money. Caledonia causes our hearts to bleed as leadership. Caledonia is upstream. In Caledonia, where I'm seated, this is one stand. On my left, I've got a pit latrine, my pit latrine. On my right, I've got my well. My neighbor, who is Honorable Mpofu, on his left has got his well. On the right has got a pit latrine, and it goes on like that. What has been created is contaminated underground water. Contaminated underground water, when it rains, the underground streams are flowing into Chisipiti, are flowing into Borodeo, are flowing into Highlands. What happens now is a potential disaster that will not affect us, which will affect the young generations to come 10, 15 years after now. They will be seized with serious diseases that we don't, waterborne diseases that we don't understand. And we want our doctors to be joining us when we start condemning these things. It's a serious disaster, which is not only in Caledonia, but on every informal settlement. It's something that, as a party, we must assist government in driving a hardball situation. It was created by land barons. Land barons have become a local authority unto themselves. They collect rates from 600 people, 200 people, and put that money into their pockets during the day. At night, they will go to a pub and start blaming ZANU for failing to govern this country. The same land barons. The land barons that in 2000, as a noble idea, were given land to assist government in providing accommodation, in providing housing. It was a noble idea. The same cooperatives who were invited to the party by government in 2000 to come and assist Minister of Local Government in providing service stands. They turned that good gesture into stupidity, took the land as their land, and during the day collect money from desperate home seekers. At night they blame the party. We have to make a conscious decision, Chairman, whether to say let them continue blaming the party and distribute the party, or we deal decisively with them. They must be locked up. There are not two ways about it. Either they follow the party lines or they are locked up. And we have got jails ready to take them. There is accommodation for them, Chairman. I know the Minister of Home Affairs will be insist with that. I am only saying I don't need, as Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, which is your ministry, you created it. We don't need land barons going forward. We don't need them. We do not need cooperative leaders right now, because they've created serious problems. The people that you see in town driving state-of-the-art vehicles are land barons. When things are as difficult as they are right now, they've got the money. They are fleecing innocent people. They have fleeced even my youth. We mustn't be apologetic about land barons. I want now to come to the issue of stands for the youth. Chairman, there's been a lot of indiscipline in the conduct of our youth leaders. They are given land, they sell the land unserviced, and unfortunately the majority of the land is sold to people that are sympathetic to MDC. That's why MDC boasts and say wherever there is light or there is any development taking place, we win elections. It's because we have given our youth land, because they don't have money to build or do anything, and they are desperate, they are not employed, they end up selling that stand. And the people that are buying are people that are financed by these NGOs whom all we know that they don't like us. For purposes of furthering MDC interests, we've done research, Chairman. We are aware of that. What we are now saying, we will take the responsibility of developing that land on behalf of the youth. Then they are given as developed stands where there is water, there are roads, there is sewer, there is energy. Then we will have protected our youth. If we don't do that, they will continue crying, they will never have the houses, they will have nothing, and the land will be sold to other people. We have no sympathy with the party. We have no sympathy with the government who do not like us. We must not pretend, Chairman, that people who support MDC like us, they don't like us. So we must not like them as well. I'm sorry I'm being political, but I'm making a very strong statement here. We must deal with them decisively. In conclusion, Chairman, we are going to be embarking on a massive regularization program throughout the country. In every urban center, in every peri-urban center, we want to ensure that by the time we reach to 2023, or by the end of this year, at least people should be speaking, say ZANU PF is now doing what it promised people to do in the manifesto. We are going to be doing that. And we get back all those people who didn't vote for us because of frustration in 2018. Chairman, nothing can be further than the truth. The Vision 2030, it needs our support. This ministry will do its part. We will consult widely, we will consult party leadership, we will consult everybody, every Zimbabwean, to ensure that that vision is realized. What we have done also is we are aware of Pumvudza program from Minister of Lands. We have opened discussions with them and also with the banks that are supporting. CBZ is one of them. We have said of the farmers that we have identified, and to date I think they've identified about 7,000 farmers. We want to be part of that and provide a decent house for that farmer. But the planning must be done properly. It mustn't be haphazard. There must be an area for houses, there must be an area for grazing, and an area for cropping. So we are going to be working very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture so that we provide housing for our farmers. We want to move away from a pole and dagger house. It does not speak to modernity. If we are going to be having pole and dagger houses touched, let them, they must be in tourist resort areas so that tourists come and see those. It mustn't be, our strategy must not speak to pole and dagger houses. Chairman, I thank you for giving me time.
Good.